Welcome back. Now, South Africa's long-awaited Administrative Adjudication of Road Traffic Offences Amendment Act, commonly known as AARTO, will come into effect on December the 1st this year. President Cyril Ramaphosa has signed the proclamation in August, officially gazetting that AARTO Act. Now, the first phase will roll out across 69 municipalities, and then the driving license demerit point system is scheduled to officially commence on the 1st of September next year. So joining us now in studio to elaborate about the AARTO rollout is the Road Traffic Infringement Agency spokesperson, Monde Mkalipi. Mr. Mkalipi, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Sakina, and to the viewers. Thank you so much.
So we know that, you know, there was, of course, some testing of how this is to roll out. I think it was we here in Johannesburg and Tshwane
yes,
that had the pilot projects.
Yes.
What did you learn from those pilot projects?
Yes, Sakina, we learned a number of things, and some of those lessons led to the amendment that has just recently been proclaimed and gazetted now. The first point is around on how we serve AARTO documents. Initially, we're using two forms of serving AARTO documents, that is personal service as well as postal or registered mail. Now, with the rollout, we are going to bring in the electronic serving of AARTO documents, meaning we are going to utilize emails and have those documents, be it infringement notices or enforcement orders. We are going to deliver those electronically as well. And number two, we also looked at the role of the Road Traffic Infringement Agency. Now, in terms of the amendment, we are going to be referred to as an authority, meaning that we are going to have a centralization of the development of standards that are going to govern management of traffic infringements in the country. We're also going to have a central national contravention register. As we speak now, under the Criminal Procedure Act, there is fragmentation in terms of management of traffic infringements. We have perhaps Cape Town having their own systems, you come to Joburg, and then so now we're going to have an authority, which is going to be the agency at which we work. And then thirdly, we're also looking at the introduction of the driver rehabilitation program. Because initially there was a misperception that was coming out to say AARTO or points demerit system is going to take away the driving licenses of road users. So what the system now does is that if you have gone through the points demerit system and then perhaps you have had your license cancelled, you are going to subject it to a driver rehabilitation program, which is going to enable you to come back onto the road. Remember, some of South Africans, they rely on the driving licenses as their sole source of income. So it's quite important that they are enabled to be back onto the road network after they have completed the driver rehabilitation program. And lastly, it's the introduction of the points demerit system itself. That's where we are going to now to say over and above the fines, the payment of fines, we need to put in another measure that is going to ensure that those who continue to be a danger on other road users, they are removed from the road surface. They are subjected to the points demerit system, after which perhaps they are going to have their driving licenses suspended twice, and after, on the third occasion that they go over the set threshold, and then they are going to have their driving licenses cancelled. And then I indicated that they are going to be subjected to a driver rehabilitation program, but over and above that, they are going to be expected to restart the process of applying for a driving license, starting from the beginning, learner's license, and then they go up again. So those are the four kind of like provisions that have been effected into the amendment, which emerged from the lessons that we learned from the implementation of AARTO in the two jurisdictions, that was in Tshwane and in Johannesburg.
Oh, that sounds rather harsh, but you know, let's walk it back a little bit. So from the notice of infringement, as you say, you're now going to move to electronic notification.
Yes.
So I guess the question there is, as was the case when you were doing it via, you know, traditional mail notification, the issue there is whether the person actually receives the notification, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So how are you going to ensure that that actually is something that you can prove, that, you know, Sakina, you infringed here, and we know for certain that you received this notification of said infringement?
Yes, well, starting with the two forms already, that is personal service. If it's served on the roadside, whether through paper or electronic gadget, you are made to sign for it, and then that confirms that you have received it. When it comes to registered mail, when you collect it from the post office, and then you also sign to confirm that you have collected it. With the registered mail, of course, with the technology that we have nowadays, we are going to be able to make a determination, and our systems in terms of the National Contravention Register, we should be able to detect if, yes, this email did arrive at this particular person, and this person did open it, and he or she read the email. As you would see, maybe even with other forms of electronic communication, whether you are sending a WhatsApp or what, we are able to detect if the person did receive the correspondence or not. So we're going to make use of quite advanced forms of technology to make sure that road users, we are able to track that, and they are able to respond and be accountable for their actions on the roads.
And then, of course, the demerit system. And I think this is where most people are a bit concerned. But before we speak to that, the 69 municipalities, why 69? Why not all? How many municipalities do we have? 213, yes. So why not all of them? Why only the 69 at first?
Yes, Sakina, will recall that what is going to happen on the 1st of December, we are introducing phase 2 of the rollout. We started with phase 1, which involves mainly capacity building in all the municipalities around the country. So out of that process, we made a determination in terms of saying how many of these are ready now. And we used kind of like 4 areas in terms of determining which are ready compared to which. So the first area of determination that we looked at, it was around the training of law enforcement officers to make sure that they fully understand the legislation. And secondly, we also looked at the training of back office staff to make sure that the capturing also happened as per regulated timelines. Then the second area that we looked at, it was around the provision of equipment. How many of these municipalities have been provided with the necessary equipment to make sure that they roll out AARTO? And the third area that we looked at, it was around connectivity. How many of these have been successfully connected to the National Contravention Register, which is housed at the NATIS?
But would the logic not dictate then, Mr. Mkalipi, that you wait until every single municipality is ready before you roll out? Because doesn't that amount to unfair discrimination against those drivers in municipalities that have the system, whereas those who are not connected can continue whilst the rest of us are collecting demerit points?
What counts, Sakina, what is critical is compliance, violation of traffic laws. It does not mean that there's going to be any gap in those municipalities that are going to be implementing later. The Criminal Procedure Act is still going to run in terms of ensuring that road users still comply, and even the processing of those infringements that are going to be done under the criminal process. So there won't be perhaps lawlessness in those areas. But now when it comes to the introduction of AARTO, it is going to be the state of readiness that is really going to determine which ones are coming in. And we have selected those in all 9 provinces, so no one will be left behind. So even the phasing in, it is the discussions that we have had with our partners in the municipalities, starting with the 69. Now in December 2025, we're moving on to 144 on the 1st of April 2026, and then we move on to the points demerit system on the 1st of September 2026.
All right, so demerit system only in September 2026 will that come into effect?
That's correct. Yes.
So how is that going to work though? Let's take speeding as an example. So here I am driving on the N1 and I have exceeded the speed limit. So let's walk through that example in terms of the demerit system and how that will work.
Yes, it's the allocation of demerit points, as you have rightly pointed out. We start with the issuing of an infringement notice. Let's say you're driving on N1, you get to be stopped, issued with an infringement notice for speeding, and then how it is going to happen. Upon payment, remember, AARTO provides road users with a number of options, because we are trying to do away with the regime that says if you commit an infringement, there's only one route. How are you going to resolve that? You are provided with this bouquet of AARTO elective options. You choose whether you want to go and pay, or you want to dispute, or you want to nominate a driver, or you want to request to pay in installments. So how it happens, after you have made the payment, because making payment, it means admission of guilt. That means then demerit points are going to be allocated. On the freeway, you get 4 demerit points after you have made the payment. And then because perhaps you were rushing on that particular day, you are not perhaps what is called a repeat offender on the road. What is going to happen, you've got these 4 demerit points. If you drive well, again, for a period of 3 months, 1 demerit point is going to fall away. Drive well another period of 3 months, another demerit point is going to fall away up until you get to 0. So because generally you are a compliant driver, you are going to get back to 0. But for a person who is a repeat infringer, these demerit points are going to build up. Commit infringement, 4 demerit points, driving under the influence, and then they build up. The cutoff point is 15 demerit points. Once you reach there, and then once you exceed, you go over and above, that's a 15th demerit point. You are at 16th and above, that's when the trouble starts, because then the suspension of the driving license happens. You are given perhaps 2 opportunities to go over the 15th demerit point and have the suspension. Once you exceed the 15th demerit point for the 3rd occasion, for the 3rd time, then that's when the driving license gets to be cancelled. You will be expected to go through the mandatory driver rehabilitation program, as well as restart the process of application for the driving license.
Who pays for the rehab?
The person who's going to pay for the rehabilitation program is the infringer himself or herself. That person must be responsible. All these consequences must come on his or her shoulders. Because he is the person, or she's the person who has to come back and get their driving license back and onto the road. They will be responsible for that. So
it's going to be a costly exercise then for offenders, but also how is this demerit system going to work in terms of how long those demerits stay on your record for? Once, let's say, is it something that you will clear on an annual basis, or does it just stay there for however long?
Yes, demerit points, most importantly, we say that the system is coming in as a deterrent, and demerit points are not permanent. And above all, not all infringements are demeritable. Some infringements that are quite lighter, there are no demerit points
attached
as? To it. It could perhaps, I'll just make an example. Maybe you driving maybe with one of your lights, broken lights at the back, and then that could be perhaps be given a fine for that. And then maybe there won't be any demerit points attached to that. But if perhaps excessive speeding, going over the barrier line, going through the red light, those infringements that are likely to cause fatalities on the road, they carry demerit points. So that is how we will really explain the principle that demerit points are also allocated on the severity of the infringement, on the severity that they might likely to cause in terms of fatalities on the road. So as I've said, you asked the question if these are going to be permanent. No, they are not going to be permanent. How it works is that if you commit an infringement, and then you have issued with an infringement notice, you pay, it means demerit points are allocated. That's why we say the system also seeks to reward good driving. If you drive well, you've got these demerit points. You drive well for a period of 3 months, 1 demerit point is going to fall away. That's why you are saying they are not permanent. So at the end of the day, you are going to come back to 0. You can't commit an infringement, let's say in December 2023, and you still have those demerit points sitting. If you drive well on the road, they are going to obviously fall away, and you're going to come back to 0. And the more we have South Africans complying with traffic laws, not committing infringements, the lesser demerit points are going to be allocated, and then the lesser fatalities that we are going to have on the road. Because, as we say, AARTO, its main intention is to change the behavior of the road users. And it is coming in as a road safety mechanism to make sure that we reduce the number of fatalities that occur on our roads. Because we have, in terms of statistics, about 38 to 40 people who perish on our roads on a daily basis. That's a high number. It's a big number of people who perish. So we need to make sure that we decrease that towards 0.
Mr. Monde Mkalipi, thank you so much for your time. Road Traffic Infringement Agency spokesperson Monde Mkalipi speaking to us about the AARTO rollout.